Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I am doing an unhaul. I've taken a good amount of books off of my shelves and I'm just gonna make way for things that I actually care about. I'm unhauling all of these for various reasons that I will explain as I go through them. I've also decided that while I'm not exactly on a book buying ban, I'm absolutely buying books. I think that I'm going to focus on getting physical copies of books that I listen to on audio and really enjoyed instead of adding things to my TBR so that I can get that down just a little bit. We'll see how that goes. The first book that I'm unhauling is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Nobody needed this. Nobody asked for this. Worst book of 2020 by far. And I don't see the point. It wasn't worth it. The direction that she went in could have been good if we got to see Snow as an adult and not just when he was 18. And also if she didn't try to convince us that he was capable of falling in love with a random girl, because did anybody really buy it? I mean, really? So yeah, I don't see the point in having this. I do still have the original trilogy. Love it. Keeping it forever, but this was just completely unnecessary. The next series that I'm unhauling is Delirium. I read these, I think when I was in college, and I feel like I really enjoyed the first book, but if you asked me what this was about, I don't know. I mean, I think it's set in a world where love is considered a disease. So when you turn a certain age, you get some procedure done to make sure that you don't fall in love or whatever, but what happens after that, I have no fucking clue. I don't remember any of the characters' names, and I damn sure don't remember how it ends, so. Next is the Lunar Chronicles. I did enjoy this series a fair amount. However, I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I liked Cinder and Scarlet. Cress was annoying as fuck. I hated her. I hated her story. Ferris was fine. In Winter, I felt like we didn't get enough of Winter, which is annoying. Also, I can't find this in paperback to match the rest of these. Apparently it's out of print or something, so it's just annoying that they don't match, and I don't really care to ever revisit it, so might as well get rid of it. The next book that I'm unhauling, which is also by Marissa Meyer, is Heartless. I enjoyed the beginning of this, but somewhere in the middle towards the end, I kind of stopped caring, and then, I don't know. I just don't care. I kind of only held on to this for so long because it's pretty, but I just don't see the reason in keeping it. I'm never gonna reread it. I didn't really love it. I'm not a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland, so yeah, I think maybe Marissa Meyer just isn't for me. I did like some of the books, like I said, but I don't know. I just don't feel the need to keep it around. The next two books are One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next. I did enjoy One of Us is Lying on its own, but then reading One of Us is Next right after just felt like I was rereading the same thing but with different characters. There were a couple of good plot twists in it, but it wasn't enough to make me enjoy it. I think I rated both of these like 3-star, very average, and I'm never gonna reread them. I don't really recommend them, and if I do, I typically just say read the first one because the second one's kind of redundant, but yeah, I think Karen McManus may also just not be an author that's for me. But then again, y'all know how I feel about high school YA tropes, so that could also be it. The next series that I'm unhauling is the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I have learned some very disturbing things about Jay Kristoff in the recent weeks, and I just don't want any of his shit on my shelves. I did enjoy this series for the most part. Gemina was my favorite of the three. There was like an ending before the actual ending where if it had just stopped there, it would have been better in my opinion. If you know, you know. But I just don't want this author anywhere on my shelves anymore, so it's gone. The next book that I'm unhauling will not be a surprise to anybody if you saw my review of it. It's In 5 Years by Rebecca Surley. I have a drunk book review of this book, and literally almost all of the comments are, what was the point of this book? Because there wasn't one. Honestly, I do not recommend this to anyone. The book was terrible. The main character is trash. She's a really shitty friend. None of this needed to happen. I took one for the team here and read it, so none of you have to. Please do not pick up this book. It's not worth it, I swear. But check out that review if you want to know what happens, because it's literally the hottest of hot messes. Next book that I'm unhauling is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. This was a highly anticipated read for me, however, it just fell really flat. For me, I know a lot of people really love this book, but personally, I don't really know what the purpose of it was. I felt like could have been a bunch of teachable moments about microaggressions and things that people of color experience on a daily basis, but instead of making them teachable moments, nothing happened. There were no consequences. People weren't called out for their bullshit, and I didn't like it. I hated it. I rated it, I think, 2 stars. I have a full review of that too, so that'll be linked in the cards and in the description. It's just not for me. The last series that I am definitely unhauling for now is what I have of the Throne of Glass series. So I started buying these a really long time ago because they've been recommended to me so many times, and I don't know, I just really wasn't feeling it. And then I started hearing about the lack of diversity and how the only person of color ends up being killed or is a villain or whatever the fuck, and just really wasn't into it. So I finally read it this year. I buddy read it with Dasher from Mythic Pages because Robin from Robin Reads asked us to. Still not over it, but it just wasn't good. I have a full review of that on my channel as well if you want to know more of my full thoughts. But again, Sarah J Maas just isn't for me. I'm never gonna read ACOTAR because I don't care. So, oh well. The next book, I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna unhaul it. I think I need to reread it first and then decide. It is Shatter Me by Taheda Mafi. When I think I was still in college at the time, I read the original trilogy thinking that that was the end, even though there were some questions that I had that were unanswered, whatever, I let it go. Then she extended the series, so I started buying the rest of the series. I used to be the kind of person that would buy an entire series before reading it because I don't like waiting in between, and I'd rather just binge all at once. I have since stopped doing that. Same reason that I have 5 Throne of Glass books. Anyway, I've stopped doing that. So for this, I have all but one of the books, but I want to reread this and see if I actually care or not. So I don't know. I feel like this might be another one that I enjoyed when I was younger, but as an adult, I might not so much. So this one is still up in the air, but I'll probably do a review of this when I actually get to it. Okay, so as I'm actually cleaning off my shelves, I found a couple more things that I am probably going to unhaul. The first is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. I wanted to read this because there is a movie for it. I'm probably just gonna watch the movie. And then the other one is You Were There Too. It was about this woman who keeps having recurring dreams about this man, and then they finally meet in person. He's been having dreams about her too. Blah, blah, blah. It just wasn't as good as I expected it to be, so I'm getting rid of it. Another thing is that I am considering unhauling King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. King of Scars was a highly anticipated read for me. However, it just did not meet my expectations, and the last third of the book just didn't make any sense. Rule of Wolves is a little better, but I don't know if I'm going to keep them or not. So those are all of the books that I'm unhauling for now. I'm gonna try to donate them. A lot of places still aren't doing donations quite yet, so I might do that. I might sell them on Pango Books. I don't know, but I just need them to get out of here, and then I'm going to clean and reorganize my shelves. Probably not gonna film that process though, because I am currently reading Ninth House, but I'm struggling, and so I got the audiobook last night, and I think that'll help. So I'm gonna listen to the audiobook while I reorganize. Maybe I'll actually end up doing a bookshelf tour. I'm not sure yet. I'm also considering getting another shelf because I'm pretty confident that it'll fit in this little area if I just move some stuff, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not 100% sure yet. But anyway, if anybody is interested in any of these books, let me know. You can have them. I don't want them. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.